The Minister of Education, Dr. Moruf Tunji Alausa, has met with Vice Chancellors and NELFUND Managing Directors to discuss how to better improve accessibility of student loans and other important issues. Welcome to Eco Blog and TV. My name is Comfort Olainka. Stay tuned for more reports. The Minister of Education, Dr. Moruf Tunji Alausa, has declared that no fraud had been uncovered in the student loan scheme. The statement followed a high-level meeting with Vice Chancellors, officials from the National Universities Commission, the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, and others.
The ICPC reported some information that was not correct about a large amount of money being misappropriated from NELFUND. ICPC, the chairman of ICPC has since come out to retrace that statement. There is no fraud in NELFUND. What the issue we had was some process issue that had to do with the timelines for disbursement of funds from NELFUND to the universities and timelines from when universities get the fund and then they notify our students. So we had a meeting today. You've seen every one of us here, myself, the Minister of State for Education, the Permanent Secretary, the Executive Secretary of the National University Commission, and the MD of NELFUND, together with several of our federal universities and Vice Chancellors. So we debated, we discussed the processes, the current processes that NELFUND has in place, and the processes that our universities have put in place to receive money from NELFUND, and when they get this money, from notification of the student, and for students that have paid, when do they get their refund? The process seems to work well, and from NELFUND end and from the university's end. But then there are rooms for improvement, and that's what we'll discuss. How can we improve these processes to better serve Nigerians, to better serve our citizens, and continue to move the agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu forward? And we've come up with several things we need to do. We'll set up a committee that will include some of our Vice Chancellors, NELFUND, Ministry of Education, and NUC to look into several things, several things, and come up with clear guidelines. And some of the terms of reference of the committee include that standardizing the nomenclature of the charges, of the various charges that universities are charging a student for their fee. As you know, we don't pay, tertiary education is free in the country, we don't pay tuition.
Dr. Alausa announced the establishment of a committee to address issues surrounding the disbursement of funds to universities and subsequent payment of refunds to students under the Nigerian Education Loan Fund.
The difference is that students are saying from when NELFUND pays the universities and the refund they give back to the student is the service charge. The university takes out some service charge, and that's what is accounting for those differences. The differences they're saying. And as I said, we are the number one priority, the term of reference of the committee that has been set up, which include the committee, which includes the Vice Chancellors, the Chairman of the Committee of Vice Chancellors, and two other Vice Chancellors. The Federal Minister of the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Education, and the Director of University Education, the Director of Polytechnic Education, and Director of Colleges of Education. And also, Managing Director of NELFUND, as well as Director of Operations and Director of Monitoring and Evaluation, as well as the Executive Secretary of NUC, who will chair the committee. They will come up with clear nomenclature on the charges that each university will charge, so that we're all talking about the same thing. It will say this is boarding fee, boarding charges, we know boarding charges. Of course, the university will decide the amount. Those amounts are not going to be universal. The amount that university will just be charged will be totally different from the amount that the university will charge. But the nomenclature of the charges will be the same. And once we do this, all this problem that the major problem we just spoken about will be eliminated. Each university will also come up with the amount of their service charges. So the student will know ahead that if NELFUND has paid 200,000 on my behalf, 200,000 naira on my behalf, my university charges is 10,000. When I get my refund, I will only get 190,000 naira back.
The committee's mandate includes determining uniform nomenclature for charges and setting clear timelines for fund disbursement, ensuring transparency and consistency amongst others. Dr. Alausa expressed optimism that these measures will bring relief to students and improve the efficiency of the student funding process. Comfort Olayinka, Echo Hot Block TV.